tell you how the webinar is going to go tonight. Welcome everybody. I'm Tangie with Foreclosures Daily. So the webinar usually lasts about an hour on the slideshow and about a half an hour for Q&A. We usually have a lot of questions in the end, so we like to leave 30 minutes for Q&A just in case. I'm going to go over a slideshow presentation that will last about 45 minutes, maybe to an hour, and go over the do's and don'ts of marketing, you know, how to write your letter, should you use letters versus postcards, some cool and unique things like that. I'm also going to give you guys a bunch of bonuses for when you purchase leads with us. I'm going to go over that in just a few moments, just try to let some more people join. So what's going to happen is you have Q&A on your toolbar in Zoom. You'll see Q&A by your toolbar on Zoom, and you can send in questions. Go ahead and just type in yes if you can hear me now. Type in yes for me if you can hear me and see my screen that says foreclosures. Awesome, thank you. All right, I got yeses. So, all right, thank you. That's just a sound check. The webinar is going to last about an hour and a half. I'm going to go over a slideshow presentation, which is going to last about 45 minutes to an hour. Then I'm going to open it up to Q&A in the end. So during the whole entire presentation, I want you guys to send in your questions, okay? The reason why is I want to be able to answer your questions, but I don't also in turn don't want to be interrupted. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to answer your questions during the presentation. I'm actually going to answer it in the end. So go ahead and use your Q&A, send in Q&A during the whole entire presentation, and when we're done, we'll go ahead and open it up to Q&A. That way, when you're sending your questions in during my presentation, it will not interrupt me because I'm not going to be answering them during my presentation. So please feel free to send them in. We're going to be offering some bonuses and some special discounts and stuff. I have a code I'm going to give you to get those discounts, and it's TC1000. That's for Tangie Cousins, TC1000. For anybody who uses that code, if you want to purchase leads, if you're interested in just hearing about it, just put in TC1000 for the discount referral code, and that'll get you a discount. We're going to be giving 20 to 30% off our subscriptions tonight, and the owner has instructed me to give away a free county. So anybody who purchases data between now and Friday will get a free county. So if you do go on the website and fill out a form, put in TC1000 for the code if you're interested in buying some data. All right, so we have some people joining. Welcome everybody. I'm Tangie with Foreclosures Daily. As I was telling everybody, just hit the Q&A if you want to type in some questions during the whole presentation. It's not going to interrupt me, but I want you to send them in while you're thinking about them, and I'll answer them in the end. So let's go ahead and get started. Everybody knows me on the webinar typically. I like to announce who I am, but a lot of you already know me. Some of you don't, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the rundown. I've been with Foreclosures Daily since 2004. And since then, I've helped many investors, realtors, and attorneys grow their business and increase their revenues. I teach people how to use different types of leads that we have to offer, and I also teach marketing techniques, the do's and don'ts of marketing, what to say, what not to say, you know, what to put in your letter and stuff like that. Foreclosures Daily has been in business since 2004, since I started, and we're the nationwide lead provider. We provide leads to investors, realtors, attorneys, and just your basic first-time home buyer. We have about 25 different types of leads we can offer you. We have been in business since 2004, like I said, and since then, we've been the internet's number one destination for the most detailed, timely, and accurate information out there. Here's how we're different. Most of our leads have, first of all of our leads have real estate attached. And all of our leads are delivered either daily, weekly, or monthly, and most of the leads have property appraisers data on most data types, like bedrooms, baths, type of property, just your basic information about the house. The more information we can provide, the better, so we try to fill that in as much as we possibly can. Most companies, though, guys, that we found are typically going to be quarterly, and the problem is they're not farmed for real estate. That's a really important part of this whole thing, because a lot of people can get leads anywhere, right? I mean, there's leads a dime a dozen all over. But the problem is those leads are not farmed for property, and they're not weekly and fresh. And here's what you get. You're going to get 3-month-old leads when you use other companies, and they're not going to be farmed for real estate. So let me explain to you how important that is. If 300 people file probate, or let's say divorce in 1 week, maybe only 15 will have property. Do you really want to market to 285 extra people? That's 285 people you're going to have to skip trace, 285 people that you're going to have to mail and send out mailing, ringless voicemail, SMS, whatever it is that you do. It's just going to be a 90% waste of your time. So trust me when I tell you, we are the only company that has weekly fresh data that I have ever found that are farm for actual real estate. So we do here at Foreclosures Daily understand the importance of having fresh data that's actually farmed for property. Here's some of the leads that we offer. We do things like probate, pre-probate, absentee owners, inheritance, divorce leads, tax slates, auctions, list pendants, code violations, evictions, distress. Now, we can also customize your leads for you too. Let's say that you want homeowners who are 65 years older, who've had their house for at least 15 years and have, let's say, maybe 40 to 60% equity. We can even customize your leads for you like that too. So we do bulk leads, we customize your leads. I've even gotten people a car dealership leads for certain cars and stuff like that. So I mean, we do customize leads as well. But the hottest leads we have to offer are probate and pre-probate. Some of the fears that I hear people say is, you know, when they're working different leads is, you know, they're scared to work probates or divorce leads because, you know, they don't know how to do it. They've never done it before and they don't really know the process. And, you know, what I tell people, you know, it's okay that you don't understand and you've never done it and you don't know the process because we really don't want you to. I mean, let's put it this way. Let's say that I'm your neighbor, okay, and I'm out washing my car and you find out that I have an extra property. Whether it be I'm in foreclosure, I'm going through a divorce, whether I got the property from being in probate, it doesn't matter the situation that I'm in. The bottom line is I'm a human being that has an extra property that you may want to buy. So if you went out and spent $5,000 on training yourself on the probate process, all you want to tell yourself at the end of the day is how to go through your own parents' probate when they pass. So I mean, even with that knowledge, you're still going to be at the mercy of me, who's outside washing my car. So Tangie, you know, when are you going back to court? Do you know when the judge is going to sign off on your property and stuff like that? So you still are at the mercy of the homeowner with all that training. So what I tell people is don't spend your money on training about the lead and the process of how it's going to go when you want to purchase leads. You can just dive right in and purchase any type of lead in the world, honestly. Because like I said, when I'm out there, it doesn't matter whether I'm going through foreclosure, whether I'm going through probate, whether I'm going through divorce. My personal situation doesn't matter. What matters is I have a property and that you may want to buy it. And what you need to know and train yourself on is your job. As long as you can market, answer the phone, run comps, visit the property, estimate rehab and repair costs, and put an offer in and write a contract. If you can do those 6 things, you can buy any lead in the whole world. It doesn't matter. Your job is to know how to do these things. You know, if you can write a contract, pick up the phone, answer the phone, market, visit the property, if you, and especially you want to know how to estimate the rehab costs, because whether you're fixing, flipping, wholesaling it, it really doesn't matter what you're doing. You definitely need to know how to estimate the rehab costs when you walk into a house within a couple of minutes. And that's very easy to learn. There's a lot of people out there that will teach you that, how to estimate the rehab costs in just a couple of minutes and walk them through the home or whatever it is you need to do. But you need to get really good at that, because if you're going to fix and flip it, you need to know how much it's going to cost to repair it. I mean, if you get in there and you find out the roof needs to be replaced or the kitchen needs to be done or the bathroom has to be ripped up and those were things you didn't plan on, you know, that eats up your profit right away. So get really good at estimating the rehab and repair costs. So guys, get trained on your job, not the homeowner's job, okay? So let's talk about probates for a minute, okay? Because a lot of people want to do probates, but they're very confused about it or they don't understand it. A probate is a legal process wherein the estate of a decedent is administered. It's when a person dies and his or her estate must go through probate, which is a process overseen by a court. Now, probates by far are some of the best leads you'll ever get. They have a lot of equity. They typically don't mind taking a discount and they're very, very motivated to sell their property. You know, people tend to be like 50 and 60 when they lose their parents. So they will almost always have their own home. So they usually don't want the property. And because they didn't buy the property, they've got no skin in the game. So they typically don't mind taking a really big discount to get rid of it either. So all probate timelines are different. A lot of people think you have to wait for the probate completely closed before you buy the property. In most states, that's just not true. You know, once you have become named the executor of the estate, which usually takes no more than like a week, you can almost bring an offer to the judge almost immediately. Depending on whether they have full authority or partial authority, here's how it typically goes. You know, you go to the judge, hey, I have a person who offered me $80,000 in the house, and depending on whether you have full authority or partial authority, they just want to know, well, how much is the property worth? You say 120,000. Well, why are you selling it for only 80? Oh, because, you know, it needs a new kitchen. Judge just signs right off on the property, guys. He don't care. He wants to get it in and out of the court as quickly as we possibly can. Now, like I said, all the probate timelines are different. The average takes about 2 to 4 months, but that doesn't mean you have to wait 2 to 4 months to buy that property. The whole process may take that long, but the judge can sign off pretty quickly. Now, A lot of people are all over the entire nation, but there's an attorney we just did a webinar with in Florida. His name is Al Nicoletti. And if you want that information, you can, reach out, or somebody can type it in the chat. Al Nicoletti, Nicoletti, and he's in Florida now. He also knows a lot of the attorneys nationwide. And what he just recently told us on a webinar is that you can actually, he's actually closing people's probates in 5 to 14 days. It's crazy, right? Unheard of, because there's a lot of things that you have to go through when you do probate, like advertise in the paper and so on and so forth. But he's actually closing my people's probates in like 5 to 14 days. So if you are interested in working probate and pre-probate, you definitely want to know Al Nicoletti. And he's going to be doing another webinar with us. I think it's going to be like October or November. So just look at our calendar, go to ForeclosuresDaily.com, look in the calendar at the webinars. Al Nicoletti is going to be doing another webinar with us shortly. If it's not there yet, we'll be posting it very soon. But pre-probate, let's talk about a pre-probate. Now, what is the difference between a probate and a pre-probate, right? A pre-probate basically means it's a person who has died, a death certificate has been filed, and we have verified there's real estate attached. So it's usually 1 week after the death. Now, this is where the attorney would come in, right? We can actually help you offer to help pay for the probates, which can increase your chances for responses in the marketing. Now, the benefit of working a pre-probate list is not only will you be first at the door, but if they inherit the property via a trust, you could buy the property right now if they inherit the property via a trust. So there's huge benefits working probate and pre-probate. Will there be some duplication? Absolutely. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because it's called striking the iron while it's hot. There will be some duplication, but who cares? You want to strike the iron while it's hot. Now, it might be hot 1 week after they die, especially if they've inherited it via a trust, and they could sell the property now. So then the iron's hot, right? You want to be mailing to them. Now, let's say they wait 6 months before they file a probate, and you're done marketing to them by then. And now all of a sudden you get it on your probate list, and you have the same person on the probate list. It doesn't matter, because now it's time to market to them again, and it just sparks up a whole new campaign for you. So there's huge benefits to working probate and pre-probate. The benefit of working a pre-probate, like I said, is not only are you first to the door, but if they inherit the property via trust, you could buy now. And the benefit of working a probate is if they do have to go through probate, at least they've already filed and they'd be closer to making a decision. So they're both very, very good. Now, an absentee owner. An absentee owner could be a non-owner occupied, or it's the person who has a property, but it's not their homesteaded property and they may not live in the property. The benefit of working an absentee owner, let's say that you're in Florida or California or somewhere else, and you have people bouncing back from up north to one of these hotter states, that becomes an out-of-state absentee owner, which is really good. When you're dealing with out-of-state absentee owners and in-state absentee owners, it's beneficial to use both. And here's why. Now, when you deal with an out-of-state absentee owner, you're dealing with more like a snowbird situation or a landlord type situation. So a lot of people like to go back and forth, right? Like my parents own a property here 6 months out of the year, but they also own a property up north. Well, one of these days, your mom or your dad is going to get sick, one of them, and they're not going to be able to travel back and forth anymore. And they're going to have to pick a place to retire in. And let the other place go. So the benefit of using out-of-state absentee owners is the preface is they're probably going to end up not being able to travel back and forth anymore and come back to their property that's in your area. So that's a huge benefit of working out-of-state absentee owners. Now, the benefit of working in-state absentee owners is you're typically dealing with a landlord situation where you're dealing with another investor like yourself, or maybe a landlord who wants to liquidate their assets and properties. So, you could market to one person about their property, and the next thing you know, you find out they're an investor and they have 8 properties they want to liquidate. So, I mean, you could strike it rich on that, So absentee owners are very good. Now, let's talk about inheritance. So a lot of people want to know the difference between a probate, a pre-probate, and an inheritance. So an inheritance is clearly what it says. It's for a person who inherits a property via trust. Well, what's different about the inheritance than our pre-probate, right? Because if they inherit the property via trust, isn't that going to be on the pre-probate list too? Well, yeah, it is actually. But what's not on there is completed probates and family deed transfers. In our inherited list, because not a lot of people will actually inherit their property when their parents pass. So a lot of people have to go through probates, but there is a small amount of people that will inherit their property via trust and not have to go through probate. But we want to make that list bigger for you, so we include completed probate on the inherited list, as well as family deed transfers. A property that was transferred from one family member to the other in the amount of $0 will also be included on the inherited list. We also have divorce leads. Divorce leads are really good, you guys. I have a guy that he works like every single lead we have to offer. And anytime we get a new lead, he's always like, oh, call me when you get a new lead. He like buys everything we have. And he's been our subscriber for the whole 16 years we've been in business, maybe 15 or 16, but pretty much the whole time. And I have a little quick story for you. He works our divorce leads and he does really, really well. I called him a few months later and like, hey, how's the divorce leads going? He's like, oh, Tangie's really good. I've got some properties under contract. I'm doing awesome. I've sold some, I've got a couple of husbands after me. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, one guy showed up at my house, my front door. Guys, you might not want to put your return house address on your mailers. And so I was trying to figure out what he was doing, and he's like, yeah, I mailed out to a bunch of marketing, and I got some people texting me back and saying not so nice things to me. I'm like, well, what did you do? Who did you send your letter to? He's like, I sent it to the ladies. I figured they would be the one getting the properties anyways. I figured they were going to get everything. And I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. These people are filing for a divorce literally, guys, 1 week ago. So if you're going to send mailers to like the property, you want to go ahead and send that to Mr. and Mrs. Smith because they're still married. Like they literally just filed for divorce like a week ago. Sometimes it's a couple weeks back, depending on how the courthouse is behind or whatever. So I mean, we are at the mercy of the courthouse. But in general, if you're going to send mailer to a couple that have a property and you want to send it to the property address, not the plaintiff versus the defendant, if they don't have different addresses, you definitely want to address that to both of them. So anyways, the divorce leads are really good. It's a legal dissolution of a marriage by a court or a competent body. When the divorce is filed, we will verify there's real estate attached, and we will provide you with the information within 1 week later. So divorces are really good, guys. It's 1 week after they file for divorce. And when you're married and you have a house together, that's typically your biggest asset you will ever own together. I mean, let's face it, guys, a lot of people are not investors like you or a lead provider like me or a speaker or whatever. So, I mean, you definitely want to reach out to these people and offer to purchase their property because their house is typically their biggest asset that they've ever owned together. And that's usually the biggest struggle is, who's going to get the house? Are we going to sell and split the assets? I mean, you come in with a cash offer now and they may be more than willing to work with you, especially if they're looking for a very quick way out. It's a heated situation that they want out of and they don't want to be stuck in a divorce for the year. And if they can move a marital settlement agreement, and cop out early of that, that's, get that house taken care of early, they'll do so. So list pendants are really good, guys. I know there's a moratorium going on right now in a lot of states, and some states have lifted them and some states are about to lift them, but you definitely want to get involved in list pendants. It's when a homeowner stops making payments on their mortgage and they have a specific procedure that it needs to follow to take the property back. This procedure will differ according to the state in the county in which the property is located. Now, if a lender finds that a homeowner is in default on their property or their mortgage payment, the two parties are unable to make a resolution of the outstanding debt, then the plaintiff has the right to file a lawsuit against the owner, which is known as the lis pendens. A lot of you know it as the notice of default, and also confuse it as a pre-notice of default, which is actually 30s, 60s, and 90s. So pre-foreclosures are still good in today's market, guys. Now here's how the leads can help you. I only went over a few of them because we have like 25 different types, and I went over the hottest ones. Honestly, guys, probate, pre-probate, inheritance, code violation, eviction, divorce are the hottest leads out there. Every beginner investor in the world is told to go after a pre-foreclosure. So you've got all these investors going after the same kind of lead, and they're all tumbling over each other, all the newbies. And the thing is they're not, you have to do unique things to get people to open your mailers and stuff, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. If you're working a list that a lot of investors are working, when you work probate and pre-probate, there's not a lot of people working them. You're targeting people who typically want to sell their property versus people who don't, and you're targeting a much better lead source, people who typically will have equity in their property versus people who don't. When you deal with foreclosures, you're dealing with people who are upside down, they're all mad, they're all angry, they're all upset, nobody wants to sell their property, and they're losing their property. When you deal with probate, it's a complete opposite animal. They're not upside down typically. Sometimes the properties are paid off completely free and clear, or at least have a ton of equity, and they usually are very motivated to sell their property. So, I mean, I would much rather work a list that's targeted. Now, you're going to get a smaller amount of leads. When you work with things like probate, pre-probate, inheritance, co-violation, eviction, and divorce, you're only going to get no more than 25 leads a week. We do have to have a cap because we have to know what to charge, but I can tell you right now, when you work these types of leads, you're going to work a small group of people, small, which means your marketing is going to be small, your cold calling is going to be small, your mailing is going to be small, your SMS, Depending on where you live, ringless voicemail, because it's illegal here in Florida. But when you target a smaller amount of leads and yield a much bigger return and have to spend less on marketing, that's the way to go, you know? So here's how the leads can help you if you're an investor versus a realtor and mortgage broker and so on and so forth. If you're an investor, these leads can help you get properties for wholesale pricing. If you're a realtor, it can help you gain listings. I have a lot of realtors that use us, and they love pre-probates and divorce leads because the chances of them being listed are probably nil with another realtor because it's literally 1 week after they file. Now, attorneys can gain a lot of business for your law firm because if you're working pre-probate, you can become the acting probate attorney on the case. If you're working pre-foreclosures, which are the lis pendens, you can become the acting attorney on the case, representing the homeowner. If you're a mortgage broker, this can help you get refinances and loan modifications for your personal investing. And if you're a first-time home buyer, we've helped a lot of first-time home buyers get their first property. I had people come to me and buy a small subscription. We do recommend a larger subscription because we want you to make, more of a commitment to help you be more successful because you're working it longer, stronger, and harder. But when you're a first-time home buyer and you just want to buy one house, a lot of people like to take advantage of just a small 3-month commitment and just buy their first home for deeply discounted rates. Let's talk about marketing now, because marketing is the guts of all of this. This is how you're going to reach out to these people. I don't like it when people limit their capabilities of being able to reach their seller. Let me give you an example. I call people, I talk to them about purchasing the leads. They call me up to purchase and they're like, oh, we're just going to cold call. So again, why are you limiting your capabilities on reaching your seller? Because that just doesn't make any sense to me. That's like going to the store, buying a new pair of shoes and walking on your tippy toes because you don't want to use your whole shoe to drive it forward. That's the last thing you want to do, guys. When you buy a list, you need to be all in. You want to be in it to win it, right? You hear that all the time. You want to be in it to win it, in it to win it. You want to have consistency, patience, the key. That's the absolute key. So when you purchase a list, when you limit your capabilities of reaching your seller, you're only hurting yourself. I had a guy just recently reach out to me, and it sticks to the top of my head because he did like 5 deals. It was huge. He wanted to cold call only. And I explained to him how important it was that he not only cold called, but he mailed. So I begged the guy over and over and over, please, please mail, please listen to what I'm saying. I'm making it so cheap for you. I'm giving you these bonuses. I'm giving you a link to a mail house company that's only going to charge you 38 cents to mail with postage. And I finally talked the guy into mail, and he got like so many deals, like bam, 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 right off the bat, like 3 deals right in a row. And then he stopped mailing and started just cold calling again. And he got like months went by and he got like 2 deals. He's like, Tangie, you're right. I need to mail. I'm going to go back to mail. And I got lazy. I decided, yeah, it was great. I got 3 deals right away. Let me just cold call. I got lazy. I started just cold calling and didn't mail, and my revenue went down. So, you're not going to make as many deals. The more you reach out, the more money you're going to make in your pocket. It's as simple as that. You don't want to limit your capabilities of reaching your seller, guys, okay? You want to mail, cold call, ringless voicemail if you can, SMS, you want to Facebook them. You want to go to the door. There's all kinds of things you want to call their family members. You want to be like that person, So let's say that you can't afford to market too much. We do recommend a 6-step mailing campaign. And the stats did just come out from Go Big Printing. And they said it's like by the time you reach the 6 to 7-step mailing campaign, your response rate goes to 80%. That's the stats in the mail house. Like the national average response rate to any marketing, guys, it's 0.5 to 1.5%. It's so small. It's like barely anything. 0.5 to 1.5% is a national average response rate when you're marketing to list. I have people getting 3, 5, 10, and 15% response rates on this mailing campaign that we recommend. Now, we do recommend a 6-step mailing campaign. That's the best, honestly. And the stats do show that your response rates could go up to 80% when you get that high, and they do go up to 80%. I've had many people back that up. So when you market and you can only do a 3-step mailing campaign, you should follow this rule of thumb. You always want to try to market every month. The cream of the crop is 6 months straight, every single month for the next 6 months. And you want to mail consistently to lists that need to be mailed to consistently. And a lot of people wonder, do I mail to this list 6 months? Do I mail to this list 6 months? Well, we'll get into that in just a second. If you can only afford to do a 3-step mailing campaign, and no, don't wait till October to mail. That's just the month that I did these slides a couple of years ago. I have a lot of people call me and say, hey, do I need to wait? Well, actually 1 or 2 people called me and said, do I need to wait till October to mail? I'm like, God's sakes, no. It's August. You don't want to wait 2 months to mail. This is just the October date that I used in his slideshow. So let's say that you can do a 3-step mailing campaign. You want to mail October, November, skip December, and mail January. That way you're turning it into a 4-month mailing campaign. If you can only afford to do a 4-step mailing campaign, do October, November, December, back to back as much as you can, and then skip January, mail February. You've now turned that into a 5-month mailing campaign. Now, same thing with a 5-step. Turn it into a 6-month campaign, you know, by doing October, November, December, you know, January, skip February and March. Now you're turning that 5 times you've mailed it within 6 months. But 6 months is the best one. It's every single month for 6 to 7 months straight is what we highly recommend in mailing campaigns. And a lot of companies will charge you like 99 cents to $1.10 to do marketing. I've got a company that will charge you 38 to 42 cents with postage. So if I've got your mailing reduced rates down to 60% off, there's no reason why you can't be mailing more. Same thing with skip tracing. I'm going to give you access to some skip tracing companies that'll skip trace your leads for you guys. Literally only charge you 15 cents and give you up to 10 phone numbers and 5 emails, okay? So consistency and marketing. Consistency and patience is key, okay? You want to be in their face all over the place. Like I said, you want to call, ringless voicemail, SMS, text, depending on if ringless voicemail is illegal in your area. I know it's illegal here now in Florida. Facebook, you know, in their mail, phone, voicemail, family members. You want to try to reach the seller as much as you possibly can. Now remember, the early bird gets the worm, squeaky wheel gets the grease. You want to be first and you want to be last. If there's anything I can teach you that you can have for a takeaway today, it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. I incorporate that in my whole life, and I always have since my kids were really young. And I was that squeaky wheel. I was that squeaky wheel in the school, in the PTA meetings, every single thing that we did, I was the squeaky wheel. If my kids' grades dropped, I was on the phone with the guidance counselor. I was emailing the teachers, finding out if we could have some extra tutoring. I was going online and making them do virtual videos and stuff on something that they couldn't understand, and do collaboration with students. And like, I was that mom that by the time my son ended up graduating, they're like, you know, Tangie, if it wasn't for you, he never would have graduated. My point is, and you're in the shop, you're getting your car fixed, and you know, you're the one that's saying, oh my God, I've been sitting here for 45 minutes, and are they going to do this, that, and this? The squeaky wheel gets the grease, and every single thing that you do in your life, your business life, your personal life, if that's a takeaway I can give you today, it's the squeaky wheel gets the grease. That's everything, your business, your life. You want to be that squeaky wheel in their mailbox, in their face, trying to reach out to your seller, okay? You want to be like the commercials, like Morgan & Morgan, you know, we the people for the people. A lot of us know that slogan here in Florida, up in Georgia, and all these areas in this area. Morgan & Morgan's pretty huge, you know. And the reason why we all know that is because they're everywhere. They're on the billboards. They're and the ads on the radios. You turn the TV on, they're there. They're in your mailbox. They're everywhere. Morgan & Morgan's literally everywhere, you guys. So you want to be that person when you're reaching out to your seller. Now, do you market to all the leads 6 months straight? No, absolutely not. These are the types that you would, though. You would market to probate, pre-probate, divorce lead, an inheritance, list pendants, and code violations. Those are the types of leads that you would market to for 6 months straight. Why? Because they're going through a process. So when you purchase leads, you're like, okay, these are the type of leads I purchased. Are they going through a process? If they are, and the answer is yes, you want to figure out how long the typical average process is and mail to them that long, okay? The average process of a probate is 2 to 4 months. Sometimes it could take longer. But like I said earlier, you don't have to wait to buy the house. Most states you can buy the house pretty quick. This attorney in Florida, Al Nicoletti, he's closing people's probates in 5 to 14 days. 5 to 14 days. I don't know how it's possible, but he's doing it. And we've had our clients work with him and literally email us and say, Tangie, he closed my probates literally in 5 days. I don't know how he's doing it, but if you want to reach out to him, I'll make sure I give you his contact information in the end, and he'll take care of you. If he doesn't know an attorney in your area, he'll try to help you find one. If he knows one, he'll give it to you. If you're in Florida, he's right here. He can do it in the whole state of Florida. Now, the type of leads you want to market to for 6 months is anybody who's going through a process. So would you want to market to an absentee owner for 6 months? Absolutely not. Why? Because they may not be facing any sort of default. They may just be a person who owns a property in Florida and they own a property in New York, like my parents. Now, my dad would not want you messaging him 6 times in the next 6 months. Sure, if he was in probate or divorce, he would expect that, but he's not. He just owns a property here. He comes here 6 months out of the year, and then he goes up north for 6 months out of the year. So, but here's what's good about absentee owners. They could be good for years. You could mail them right now and reach out to them, see if they're interested and have any interest in selling their property. They may not today, but 2 years from now, boom, mom gets sick. They can't travel back and forth anymore. you know, she loses dad or she has to pick a place to live because she just can't travel. My point is absentee owners can be good for years, you guys, you know? So these are the types of leads you want to market to consistently for 6 months. Now, here's some unique marketing techniques I want to talk about. There's a lot of unique marketing techniques you can use, especially when you're working foreclosures, right? Because it's so hard to get people to open your mail. They literally have people 30, 40 letters a day. They're going to their mailbox. It's overflowing with marketing letters from investors, realtors, and attorneys wanting to market to them for the property, right? Or to represent them. Using unique marketing techniques will help ensure that your mail gets open, okay? Things like, I know you've heard this a million times, different size envelopes, different shape envelopes, such as wedding invitations, birthday cards, even that envelope that has a little, you know, the little window in it that you can see. I have people putting little teeny worry dolls. You know those little worry dolls that you get at the restaurants when you go? They're like, they don't weigh anything. I have a friend / speaker, and he buys from Amazon those little worry dolls. Can you imagine? They're like the size of your pinky, and they don't weigh anything. So you can order a box of like 10,000 worry dolls for just a few dollars. It's ridiculous. But he puts them in all his envelopes. So every time anybody gets a letter from him, they reach in there and they can feel that little teeny worry doll, and they're like, what's that? You know, they want to open it. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. I've had people use lumpy mail, like the swishy balls and stuff like that. There's a lot of different unique marketing techniques that you can use when you're marketing. So basically, you can use colored letters such as yellow letters. Yellow letters have been proven, tested, and tried to work. Handwritten envelopes are good. You always want to like handwrite your envelopes. Special markings and certain statements on the envelopes you can use. Like if you take your envelope and you flip it over, and let's say that you write the word cash involved in the back of your envelope. That's really big, guys. I mean, if you write the word cash involved on the back of your envelope, can you imagine somebody actually not opening that? Like, who's going to throw that away, right? I have this one person, he uses elderly people. Like, he will use elderly people, his grandmother, people at the older people home. He pays them money, and they sit down, they have that shaky handwriting. And people just open their envelopes because they're making it out to the person in their shaky handwriting, and it's different, it's unique. I have one guy who has elementary students. Literally, he will hang out with these little kids on the weekends, have his daughter have her friends over, or son have his friends over, and him and his wife will sit at the table and put a bunch of crayons out, and they will handwrite the envelopes. But on the back of the envelopes, they'll have the kids drawing on these envelopes with crayons, little stick people, little houses, little dogs in a tree. And guys, that's huge. You hand a kid $1 and they'll do 50 of those. You know, I mean, you don't have to pay very much. So, I mean, anything unique that you can do to help yourself stand out will get your marketing open for you, okay? So there's just a lot of different marketing techniques you can use. Symbols, instead of the word cash involved, a lot of people don't like to put the word cash involved because they think that somebody's going to open their mail. Well, first of all, it's a federal offense. We know that, but people still do it. So, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can put the word $signs and then write involved. That kind of means the same thing. Some people don't want to put the word cash involved because there's no cash in the envelope. And I mean, if it really bothers you, stick a penny in there. You know, I mean, honestly, it is cash involved. It's a cash offer involved. So, I mean, those are just some unique marketing techniques that you can do. Let's talk about letters, okay? Because I have people email me all the time saying, hey, Tangie, can you look at my letter and can you critique it and tell me what you think? And this guy sent Angela, I think it was Angela, a 4-step mailing campaign that he uses, and he wanted her to have me critique it. So she sent it over to me, and I looked it over, and all I could see is a bunch of letters all garbled together that didn't look like it had any spaces. So the first thing I want to talk about is when you market, the last thing you want to do is use cursive font that you can't read yourself when you're standing back here. Like, I mean, first of all, I have to wear glasses when I read to even worship at church. So, I mean, and I don't have glasses on. I can see pretty good in front of me, but this is all just one long white letters all crammed together to me. I struggle when I read this. But what it actually says was, Dear Miss Story, selling your house has never been easier. Now, hold on, before we go any further, guys, this is a 4-step mailing campaign, and this is his first letter or card. Dear Miss Story, selling your house has never been easier as discussed. Hold on, what do you mean as discussed? Did you go over to this person's house? Did you talk to her on the phone? Because Your letter says, as discussed. And if you did discuss it with her, why are you sending her this? Why are you not just having another conversation with her via phone or in person? As discussed, I can pay cash for your house and you pocket all the money. No realty commissions, make for a sweet sale. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Dear Ms. Smith, I'm still interested in buying your house. As you know, as I know what? We haven't talked before. This one really gets me. Same guy, same letter. This is a third step campaign now. Dear Ms. Story, quickly selling your house can take away the strain of showing a lot of people you don't know. Well, hold on, because as far as I'm concerned, unless we met before the first letter, like as discussed, you haven't seen me, so you don't know me either. So why am I sending you a letter saying that selling your house to me can take away all the strain of showing it to people you don't know, because you don't know me either. So, I mean, obviously we 86'd all of these mail pieces, okay? Do not do that. Don't reference something that didn't happen. It's actually upsetting to people, and they don't want to call you because you did that. I think somebody would remember if they talked to you. So here's what I did. My recommendations for his marketing was to throw it away. Just throw it right away and use this. And this is what I recommended. My investor letter that I recommend. When you market to somebody, first of all, you never want to talk about their situation. When you bring up a negative feeling in a human, it puts their guard up. They immediately are like, stop, I don't want to talk to you, I'm angry. It brings up negative emotion and you don't even realize it, and neither do they. When they go to the mailbox, the last thing they want to hear is, my deepest condolences on your recent passing of your loved one. My wife and I are working on our residual income for our retirement, and we are interested in purchasing your home to add to our portfolio. Wow. I mean, why didn't you just kick him in the face? You know what I mean? I mean, when you market, you want to bring up positive things. This is a letter you should have. The reason I'm contacting you is I understand there may be a property for sale. If there is real estate, see, you're not assuming. If there is real estate for sale, I would like to buy your property. I can close fast, cash, as is, in less than 30 days. You can even leave the unwanted items in your house. You don't even need to clean, update, rehab, repair the property. I will buy the property just the way that it is. If this sounds like something you may be interested in, please contact me back immediately. Now, guys, if you're sending this to pre-probate, you can add that clause. Oh, and by the way, I can even help you pay for your probates if you need some financial assistance. I had that guy in Florida do that, and he got 5 wholesale deals in 3 weeks by offering to help pay for the probate. Anyways, think about it. When somebody passes away, they've got this property, and they think, my mom passed away, I've got this house, it has all this stuff in it. Every room is full of memories, for 20, 30 years of all of ours, and it's got the old horse and buggy wallpaper, it's got the paneling walls, it's got the old flooring, and the bathroom tiles got the white and pink little squares, and it's like, in your head, you have no idea you could sell this property now. In your head, you're thinking, I've got to hang on to this for like 6 months. I had like 5 yard sales, 3 furniture pickups from the Lighthouse Ministries. There's a lot of things that I'm going to need to do. But when they read your letter, I can close now, fast, cash, as is, less than 30 days. Don't clean, don't pick up, don't rehab. They hear that and they're like, wow, I can walk through this house with a box, take the things out that I want, call Mr. Johnson, have him come buy my property. I'm scot-free. I don't have to do any of this. They didn't know that. You have to tell them that. A lot of people aren't investors like you or a speaker or sell leads or anything like me. They don't know what they don't know, guys, okay? They're just flabbergasted and they have this huge load on them, okay? So tell them things you can do for them. I can take over your payments, while you're waiting for your property. I can do the lawn maintenance for you. I can do this. I mean, mention these things to these people. They don't know. Now let's talk about the do's and don'ts of marketing. Never talk about their unfortunate situation. It brings up a negative feeling and it upsets them and they don't want to talk to you. It just makes them mad, or they'll call you just to tell you off. And no matter what you do, guys, sometimes no matter what you do, they're just going to call and tell you off. It's just the way people are sometimes. You want to find solutions, okay? You want to fix their problem. You want to overcome their fears and address their concerns. My letter does just that, okay? I also recommend postcards too. I never used to, and the times have really changed because a lot of people would say, would you use a postcard over a letter? And I used to say, no, absolutely not. You want to handwrite your letter, and I still believe that. Don't get me wrong, but postcards are really good. There's a postcard out there. one of those drive-in for dollar apps. You drive by the house, you see that it's empty, you snapshot a picture, and it shoots them out a postcard for you, the picture of their own house. Hey, is this your house? Are you selling this? Question mark. And people want to respond to that. I've got people getting 10 and 15% response rate to that postcard, but they charge you 99 cents to send that. The company that we're going to recommend here at Foreclosures Daily to you will do the same kind of postcard for 42 cents with postage. That's 60% off for the same kind of postcard. So check this out. If you're a realtor and you want to know, like I wrote this letter for a realtor, her name was Peggy from Montgomery, Maryland, and she does so good with our probates. And she uses this letter for her pre-probates, I'm sorry. And she says, hi, my name is Peggy. I'm a local realtor with RE/MAX. I would like to help you sell the property at 2000 Smith Avenue. If you would like to sell the property or just know the value of the property, call me. She's offering a free service from a professional. If you're a realtor and you reach out to them and say, hey, I can let you know the value of your property for free, call me. Your job is to get your phone ringing. And if that's what gets your phone ringing, then do it. You can let them know the value for free. You can do comps in the area. You can give them a free analysis of the property. You can give them free advice, whatever. But when you offer them something for free, you're offering them a value that they can't refuse. And she got like 3 listings in a week and a half. So, I mean, it's beneficial to offer something free in your marketing, okay? You realtors, you do have a little bit of an edge there. So if you are an investor, you should have a realtor in your back pocket to do this. And the properties that you go look at that you don't want, you can pass off onto them. Now, there's this guy that does just a 3-step campaign, and I was really shocked at his response rates. He said they're 15%, and I kind of found it hard to believe because he's only mailing to them 3 times. But it's the truth. He gets so many deals from our leads, and here's what he does. He goes to, and you can go to the dollar store too, and he gets these little square white cards. They're just small. They're little mini cards. And he literally puts it in an envelope, and he writes, I'm interested in the property at 1234 whatever street. If you're interested in selling, call me. Now that's his first touch, okay? His second touch is, I sent you a letter about a month ago. I love that, because a lot of people say, Tangie, you know, if I want to send the same letter over and over and over, what do I put in the second letter, in the third letter, in the fourth letter? Well, you don't have to change the letter. You just have to change the top. Hey, I sent you this about a month ago expressing interest in the property located at 1234 whatever street. Have you considered selling yet? No, just simple, basic marketing. And he gets huge responses from this. So 3-touch marketing campaign. On the third touch, he totally turns it around and announces that he's a local investing company purchasing properties in a few select areas. If you need or want to sell or know anybody who may, please give us a call. So I highly recommend doing this way. And then I had another girl that followed the same thing. She went to the dollar store, and that's where I got the dollar store from. He gets his somewhere else, but she's like, Tangie, I went to the dollar store and I got these little cards and I did what this guy said. She's like, I can't believe it. She's like, people are just responding like it's awesome how many calls I get from this little teeny little card. So it works really good, guys. So just doing unique things really helps. Now, I want to talk about some exit strategies here. We've got about 15 more minutes to talk about some things, guys, and then we're going to open it up to Q&A. So make sure you are clicking on Q&A and sending in your questions. It's not going to bother me, but I want to have questions to answer when we're done. And don't forget, if you're interested in buying leads, and you can go to Foreclosure Daily and fill out the form, put the code TC1000 to get the discount today by Friday. So exit strategies. There are several profitable exit strategies that are working well right now in the market. And one is wholesaling, and this huge. A lot of people don't know this. You can wholesale a probate property. And a lot of people are like, really? You can wholesale a probate property? I had somebody wholesale 5. Like I said, you don't have to wait for the probates to finish to be able to buy the property. You can easily wholesale probate properties, okay? You get it under contract and you flip it to another investor in a contingency basis, obviously. But wholesaling is huge these days. Quickly flipping a contract to another investor without extending any of your own cash, okay? So you get the property under contract. Let's say the guy wants $80,000, right? You get it under contract for $80,000 and you turn around and sell it to somebody, tell somebody you want $100,000. Boom, you make $20,000 or $10,000, whatever you want to do. But that's how you wholesale a property. It's very quick, very easy. And if you struggle, there's so many groups out there today. If you get the property under contract. Worry about the rest later. Don't try to get all your processes in place and blah, 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 blah. Chances are you're going to spend a couple months marketing and people are going to slowly trickle in, and it's going to be at a level where you are not going to be overwhelmed. You get a property under contract. Hey, Mr. Jones, this is so-and-so. What is the absolute low, and you don't need to know anything, what is the absolute lowest you would take for your property? $80,000. Okay, Mr. Johnson, if I can get you $80,000 for your property, would you sign? Yes, I would. Bam, there's your contract. Take it to a local REIA group, do some due diligence with one of the higher up investors that know more than you do. They'll do all the due diligence with you, they'll help you, and they'll give you 10,000, you wholesale the property to them or whatever. It's not hard, guys. And even if you're not in an area where you can attend the local REIA meetings, because we're doing Zooms right now with them, you can actually go onto the Wholesaling Houses Full Time, Wholesaling Houses Elite, Wholesaling Inc. There's so many Facebook groups out there that'll help you on these Facebook groups. Just ask a question, log onto a Facebook group. I got a contract, guys, what do I do? And you'll have so many investors flooding in telling you what to do. So retailing. A lot of retail buyers are coming back in the market today because of the historically low mortgage rates, price appreciation, and the tax credits that are being offered with the ever so improving economic conditions, which we know right now are kind of failing. But they are historical low mortgage rates right now. So definitely now you want to buy low and sell high when the market comes back, you guys. Lease is a huge option. I have a guy, he's a speaker. He does all kinds of lease option to buy, and he does it over and over and over and over again with the same property. And he's probably made $100,000 on this one property in the past few years. Now, here's what he does. He takes a lease with the option to buy. These people many would-be buyers currently have poor credit, but they do have money down for a down payment, but they don't have very good credit. So there's an option consideration, and they want a nice home to live in. And this strategy works really well. So what you do is you get like $5,000 or $10,000 down. You sign the contract, the lease with the option to buy within 1 to 2 years, or however long you guys have, or 1 to 2 years go by, I mean to say. And a lot of times they will better their credit. So see, when people move into your places and they do lease with the option to buy, a lot of times because they have no credit, but they have cash to give you, okay? So they're going to become basically your renters. And what's going to happen is 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road, 5 years down the road, they're going to better their credit, and they're not going to want your house anymore because now they have the credit to buy the house they really wanted. So what's going to happen is you get to keep that $5,000 to $10,000 down that they put down, and this is his strategy, and you redo the same thing with another couple. 5 years later, they're not probably going to want the property, and then you just do the same thing over and over and over and over. And he literally does this with a bunch of different properties, and he's made so much money on just with the lease with the option to buy. Rental, if you buy right over the long term, this is a great cash flowing strategy where you can reap the annualized returns of 20% per year and more. So those are some really good exit strategies, guys. Now, I'm not going to go too much over the testimonials, but I happened to be at a local REIA club one month, and we were giving away a probate book. And it's the probate book that we give to every single person who buys leads from us. And it's called Probate Real Estate Sales 101. And the author is Kevin Sayles. It's S-A-Y-L-E-S. I think the book's on Kindle for free even. But we actually mail the book to you when you buy the list. Well, I was giving away a month at the time. I didn't have a book at the time. So we were giving away a month subscription at the REIA. And I happened to draw her name. Her name's Amanda Young, and she's a local investor in Hernando County. You can look her up on Facebook, and she'll talk to you. She'll tell you how amazing the leads are. And she still works them today and makes a lot of money. She has she got like 5 probate properties and very quickly when she used our services. One right away in the first month, which is typically it takes a little time, right? Well, here's what she said. I happened to win 1 month of probate leads at my local real estate meeting. At the time, I had only 1 rental house, which I purchased off the MLS. So mailing letters from a list was foreign to me, but with the help from Tangie and Foreclosures Daily and using their standard letter, and that's the one I read to you, I can close fast, cash, as is, that is the one she used. I tweaked it and mailed them out. I received a call, made an offer, and closed my first probate and subject to deal. 1 year later, her tenant bought the house. He made an offer she couldn't refuse. She used the profits on a 1031 exchange into 2 more investments, homes. So she turned 1 deal into 2 deals with a 1031 exchange. And as a newbie investor, I couldn't believe how mailing letters would turn out to be the best deal yet. I highly recommend working with Foreclosures Daily. But that's just one customer. Guys, we have hundreds of them. My point is that I used her because she was barely getting by. She was brand new. She was working with the Realtor off the MLS. And now she's a full-time investor, and she got rid of her JOB. I mean, isn't that what we're all looking for? So, I mean, that's a good testimonial, guys. So we give a lot of bonuses when you work with us. You know, there's a lot of things. And by the way, did you know Gmail now has GMAS? They'll actually email blast out your list for you, really, really cheap. So check into GMAS. So Ringless voicemail, there's just some things that you get. These are some bonuses that you get when you purchase our data. I'm skimming through them because I don't want you to see them, because we do give that as a bonus of purchasing leads. And one of the companies that we give you access to is a printing company, which is really cool because when you click on the link, it takes you right to the postcards that I recommend. And it has the picture of the house, like that one I was telling you guys about earlier, but they charge 99 cents to send that. These guys only charge 42 cents. I mean, you could just take, what they'll do is they'll use Google Earth. You mail them your list. You email them your list, and you have to have 50. 50 is their minimum, and that's really low, guys. A lot of people, they have to have like 1,000 minimum or 200. These people lowered it to 50 for us, okay? Because our max each week is 25 per county, but you can purchase multiple counties, and you can purchase the extras if they have extras too. So they only charge 42 cents to send this with postage. You just send out the email to them. They'll shoot out a list, and what they'll do is they'll use Google Earth to get the picture of the house. And like I said, you can just be like, hey, are you selling this? Is this your house? People love to respond to that. They're like, hey, how'd you get a picture of my house? Oh yeah, I am selling that. That's my house. I love the little red, white, and blue one here. This is pretty cool. So they're very generic. Now they will do the ones without the picture of the house for 38 cents with postage if you're looking for a cheaper rate. But just so you know, that's like 60% off the rate, guys. A lot of people charge $1.10 for this. Here's a letter. I'm gonna zoom in. This is a really good letter. I like this. What they'll do is they'll use the handwritten font, and they only charge 64 cents. And most people charge like $1.20, $1.30, $1.10 to send out handwritten font letters. And they actually handwrite the envelopes for you too using the handwritten font. So it's legible. It's not like the other letters. So you can, very legible. You can definitely read it. So that's the marketing we recommend. Here's some of the bonuses you're going to receive when you purchase leads from us. You're going to get a 6-step mailing campaign, which is the one I showed you earlier. A 6-touch campaign telling you how often to mail, the spacing in between, and how many times to mail. You're also going to get a phone script on how to negotiate with the seller on the phone. The phone script is actually wrote by the cash flow guys. It's called the cash flow cheat sheet. That's how to negotiate. But I also give you phone scripts on how to speak to the person who answers a decedent's phone versus how to speak to the person who answers the family member's phone. That's really cool. And if you've raised your hand, I don't answer raised hands. So if you have a question, please fill out the Q&A up top. I'm so glad because this is almost over and I've kept every one of you till the end, which means you really like what I have to say. So honestly, guys, I'm going to open up to Q&A in just a moment. But you also, I send you an email that has all of these things on it, and it's called the Foreclosures Daily Toolbox. How many of you actually know of a company that provides you with marketing for your leads, that provides you with a skip tracing company for your leads, that provides you with mailing campaigns, phone scripts, postcards, a letter, mails you a probate book, gives you an hour-and-a-half long webinar replay? We obviously here at Foreclosures Daily care about you and want you to be successful at working your leads. Because guess what, guys? If you're not successful, you're not going to renew, and we know that. That's why the owner puts this toolbox together for you so that we can help you utilize our leads and help you drive that vehicle forward. Okay. So I'm going to give you a phone script on how to talk to the person who answers the decedent's phone versus how to talk to the person who answers the family member's phone. I'm going to give you an email to send to the attorney because the attorney said on the webinar that we did, and if you go to foreclosuredaily.com and you click on our YouTube link, and we have like 24 videos, find the one with Al Nicoletti and Christine Lomas. They're the probate attorneys. They're local right here in Florida, but Al also knows of some nationwide. It's attorney@nicoletti.com, I think, but we'll get that to you guys. Don't worry about it. But just so you know, how many companies are going to provide you with all the leads and all of the bonuses so that you can be successful working your list. It's not going to happen. Now, this probate book that we're going to mail directly to you is wrote by Kevin Sales. He also did a webinar with us, and you can watch his replay, and we'll email that to you with your toolbox, teaching the 7 ways to make money with probate real estate investing. So we're also going to give you reduced rates to a skip tracing company. The skip tracing company literally only charges 15 cents, and they'll give you up to 10 phone numbers and 5 emails. And what's really good about the skip tracing company, guys, they'll give you the decedent's phone number if you're working pre-probate. Well, who do you call, right? They'll also give you the surrounding family members' phone numbers in the area for free if you ask. So for 15 cents, they'll give you the decedent's phone number if you're working pre-probate. or a probate that don't have a PR name and address. Because if you have a probate that don't have the PR name and address, who do you call if you can't call the PR's name and address if we don't provide it? Because some counties we do, like Hillsborough will have it, Pinellas will have it, Pasco doesn't have the PR address. So in Pasco, you do have to mail to the actual decedent's property. So you want to call the decedent and the surrounding family members in the area and talk to whoever answers the phone. I'll give you a phone script on how to do that. The email that you send to the attorney, they specifically said, if you call me, I probably won't call you back, but if you email me expressing interest in the probate property, I'll forward that right to the PR for you. What better way to reach your PR, right, than just send them an email and the attorney just forward it for you? Because when you put something in writing, they can't withhold information from their clients. Guys, here's the pricing, and we're getting ready to open it up to Q&A. Guys, I want you to take a picture of the screenshot because these prices are reduced by 20 to 30% off. And we typically don't do this, but the owner is going to give you a free county on the discounted rate. Usually, and I'm just being authentic, the owner gives you a free county on the BOGO specials that we run all the time, but it's on the list price, not the discounted rate. So this is for each of the list, okay? It's $5.99 for 3 months, $9.99 for 6 months, or $17.50 for a year. Now, if you purchase 6 months, that's the better bang for your buck because you're going to save $200. And we want you to try and make a longer commitment. Honestly, the people that make the longer commitments tend to be much more successful in the long run because they're working the list longer, stronger, and harder. So we want you to try and make at least a 6-month commitment, if not the year. Okay. Now I got Al's information. Now, if you purchase the year is only $1,750. That saves you $650. And this is the price for each service, not all of them. So if you want probates for 6 months, $9.99. If you want pre-probates for 6 months, another $9.99. If you want to add a county, 50% off. Now, Al Nicoletti, his email is attorneynicoletti@gmail.com. It's NICOLETTI. Will somebody put that in the chat? attorneynicoletti@gmail.com. And he will help you, if he's not in your area, maybe find an attorney in your area because he knows a lot of people. And he's the one that's closing people's probates in 2 weeks. Attorney Nicoletti, NICOLETTI@gmail.com. If you reach out to him and ask him, he'll help you out. Now, we do a la carte leads too, guys, like such as absentee owners, cash buyers list, you know, a vehicle, owners who own property for 15, 20 years, who have 50% equity or higher or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and open it up to Q&A. I do have to dismiss a lot of these yeses in the beginning when I was doing a sound check. Now, remember, guys, my code is TC1000 if you want to get these discounts with a free county. It's TC1000. All right. Here we go. Let's start the Q&A. Thanks for putting my code out, Joey. Do you have recent inheritance leads? Yes, we do. But here's the thing. When you say recent, the inherited list is different because it's made up of 3 different types of leads. It's made up for the people who inherit the property via trust. It's made up for family deed transfers, and it's also made up of completed probate. So it's going to kind of be a mixture, just so you know. How much are the probate leads for Baltimore and Detroit? Well, that's 2 counties. So it'd be, if you bought 6 months, it'd be $1,498.50. If you bought 3 months, it'd be $898.50. And if you bought a year, it'd be $2,625. How much are the probate? Oh, that's why I'm sorry, I already did that. Yes, there's going to be a replay, guys. So we will be emailing out a replay. The owner will email you out a replay afterwards. Let me go back to my answer because I think I just missed somebody else's question on accident. Okay, no, I got them. All right, so yes, they're going to be a replay. Somebody type that code in again. I accidentally deleted it. TC1000. What is the illegal? What is that? Is illegal in Florida? Oh, ringless voicemail is illegal in Florida, from what I understand. Ringless voicemail. And I'm not sure if it's lis pendens or probates. That's just what I heard, guys. So check into it. Somebody said lis pendens. All right. Janet liked our letter that we were going over with Mrs. Story earlier. It is hilarious, Janet. That was hilarious. Okay, I currently have a subscription for the pre-probates. Do we have a discount code to skip trace the leads? Okay, so guys, when you're a subscriber, reach out to me privately. I'll give you a skip tracing company code that you can use. So just Rodney, email me or text me. It's 863-698-3550. I'll text you back. Just say, hey, Tangie, it's Rodney. And I'll text you back the skip tracing company because you're a current subscriber. So I will give that to you. For anyone doing probate letters, who do you address the letter to? On the actual letter in the envelope. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. If we provide you with the PR name and address, and some of the probates it's there and some it's not. So if you have the PR's name and there's an address next to it, you want to address the letter to the PR. If there is not, address it to the Smith family. It is very much their job to check the mail, liquidate the assets, and settle the estate. So it's their job to check the mail, liquidate the assets, and settle the estate. Most of the time, people live by their parents or within the same vicinity somewhere, and they'll drive over once a week, check the mail, mow the grass. And if for some reason they don't, like my parents live up north, you know, when something happens to them, not if, because when, because it will, I will have to have all their mail forwarded for 6 months to a year after the death. And you're told that during the probate process to have the mail forwarded. So, I mean, one way or the other, that mail is getting handled. And check it out. You can reach out to the family members in the surrounding area too. So you're calling the family members too. And yes, the webinar is being recorded. There will be a replay. Let me see here. I'm going to take a picture of this phone number. So, do you reach out initially by mail and then skip trace? Okay, some people do it differently. Honestly, Ann, I have people that only believe in cold calling, but I talk them into mailing, so they're calling, and the ones that they can't get a hold of, they're mailing. But that's just holding up the process. You know what I mean? I make it so cheap for you guys to mail with these other providers. You guys should just consider mailing and calling right away, immediately. Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate it. The code is TC1000. I hope somebody typed that in. TC1000. Did you ever try to get first option to buy if the seller does not want to commit to? You know, I don't get into all that. If you want to know that, Deborah, honestly, I'm not going to claim to know the answer to that. Go to one of the Facebook groups like Wholesaling Houses Full Time. There's also women wholesaling houses. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but it's a big group. There's like 15,000 members. It's called Women Wholesaling Houses. Just go on there and ask that question. They'll answer that on the Facebook group. Yes, there'll be a recording. Oh gosh, how are we better than RealFlow? I mean, guys, our leads speak for themselves. I mean, they're weekly and fresh in their farm for real estate. You're not getting that anywhere, honey, anywhere. And I've had a lot of people come from me from all over those places that are being mentioned. And I'm not going to mention companies because I don't like doing that. But I can tell you right now, we literally are the only company that has weekly fresh data with real estate that I've ever found. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. If you want to learn how to wholesale properties in this area of COVID, our life of COVID right now, I mean, honestly, just go to the Facebook groups, reach out. A lot of those investors are dying to have people like you under their wing to go out and bird dog for them and find properties, and they'll help you. They'll guide you. Just reading the questions, guys. I seen a foreclosure book that's included, but did not hear you say that you only get 25 leads that are sent at a time. Okay, it's only no more than 25 leads a week for the top 6. So probate, pre-probate, inheritance, code violation, eviction, and divorce. You never get more than 25 leads a week, but most counties don't have 25 a week. By the time you go through the probates in, let's say, Pasco County, they may only have 18 left with real estate. Most counties don't go over that, but big counties do, like Hillsborough, Pinellas, Broward, Dade, Palm Beach. They're all maxing out at 25 a week. Some counties have 10 or 15 more, and you can buy them at a discounted rate. We just cap it at 25 so we know what to charge you for this price, okay? And it's not a foreclosure book, it's a probate book that's included. But the owner is looking into an investor book in general, just investing, wholesaling, and so on. So he may be offering one of those in the future. Oh, somebody wants to recommend another attorney. Attorney Alexander Cubis is a real estate attorney who also does probate for a discount. But what we would wonder though, is he an Al Nicoletti? I mean, can he get them done in 10 days, 15 days like Al? So we'll see, you know, check him out. Alexander Cubis, 305-595-6337. All right. A 6-month subscription is $999, Caleb. Foreclosures, if you're in Florida, it's $799 for 6 months in foreclosures in Florida. I don't know how many foreclosures come out in each month, but I can give you an average if you want to reach out to me after this call, maybe tomorrow. You can email me, Tangie@ForeclosuresDaily.com. It's on the screen. You can also email me any lingering questions. Let me see. Alexander, sorry guys, I'm just dismissing those questions. No, foreclosures are all over the whole nation, guys. We don't just do them in Florida, but we just do them daily in Florida. If you're outside of Florida, we do them monthly if we have them available in your area. Is it okay to call the homeowner instead of sending a letter? I mean, like I said, you're limiting your capabilities of reaching your seller if you do that. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to limit your capabilities of reaching your seller unless your finances don't allow you to, but that's why I gave you access to that mail house company that'll mail for deeply discounted rates for you. For example, they will mail a postcard for you for 38 cents to 42 cents when other companies charge $1. So we got you 60% reduction. Which is the county in Florida that has the most probates? I mean, you're looking at Broward, Dade, Palm Beach, Pinellas County. Counties like that have a ton of probate. But remember, guys, it's not quantity, it's quality, okay? So it's $1,000 for each category. Well, yeah, if you're going to purchase the 6 months. And yeah, it's for each category. And no, it does not include mailing. You have to pay for mailing separately, but we give you the link to have the discounted rates. What is the most effective lead source for St. Petersburg, which would be Pinellas County, where a person can do a subject to? I mean, guys, foreclosures are great subject tos. List pendants in Florida, if you're in St. Petersburg, Jessica, so that's why I'm mentioning Florida. List pendants are fantastic in St. Pete to do a subject to. And if anybody doesn't know what a subject to, it's basically when you take over the deed, but the mortgage stays in the homeowner's name. Larry Harbolt swears by subject tos. My phone number, my cell phone number is 863-698-3550. Can you type it in? 863-698-3550 if you want to text me. But my office line's on the screen. I'm a longtime member. We offer title services, $200 off for members. Oh, wow, that's really good. So 833-titulaw.com. I'm going to answer this live. That way you can see the question and yeah, TC is the code. TC 1000 is the code. Thank you. Yeah, we cover Florida, the whole entire, we cover the nation. We're nationwide. And even if we couldn't do probates in, let's say, New York, we'll do pre-probates. It's okay. $9.99 for 26 weeks includes, no, $9.99 for 26 week, Ozzy, it's each service. 26 weeks for probate, $9.99. If you want pre-probates, it's another $9.99. If you want inheritance, it's another $9.99. His email is kubaslaw.com. Oh, the attorney. I'll answer this live so you can see it. How can a mom do this business while homeschooling her son at the same time? You know, we have a lot of stay-at-home moms that invest in property. I suggest you joining the group, Women Wholesaling Houses. Women Wholesaling Houses. Women Wholesaling Houses is a Facebook group you can look up. There's 15,000 members that are women just like you, a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling her son. You can go on that group. These ladies will help you. They'll take you from the ground up and they'll just hold your hand the whole way. They're amazing. It's Women Wholesaling Houses. I'm in Hillsborough if you need a realtor. Amelia, thank you. Los Angeles and thought you had update the probate. I'm in Los Angeles and I thought you had to update probate. Yes, we have updated probate lists weekly, nationwide, weekly, all over the whole nation, guys. All right. You can't see my name and email at the bottom of the screen? I'm sorry, it's Tangie@ForeclosuresDaily.com. Can somebody type it in? Tangie at foreclosures, that's plural, daily.com. The office line is 813-563-0005, extension 2. And my cell is 863-698-3550. The discount title services phone number, thank you. Code violations. Okay, so you want me to talk more about code violations? Are great. Code violations are fantastic. When you're dealing with grown-up grass, overgrown trash and debris, that's a really good property. It's not being maintained. People aren't taking care of it. So when you deal with code violations are fantastic. There, it's a great list to use, Selena. Okay, I have somebody on here that says they can close in 24 to 48 hours. A, B to B, C. We'll put your number on there, guys, for them to everybody to see you guys. If you can close in 24 hours, oh, that's a title company, guys. The number's already on there. Put out the actual number, not the, put the phone number, the actual digits, please. Do you get training on how to close the deals? See, the thing is our goal is to give you leads. Anything we do above and beyond that is like outside of our scope of work, but we do a lot of things to help you. And this hour-and-a-half training is as technical as it gets for us. But if you have questions for me, I can try to answer them if I know. I do give you all of those other links and the bonuses from the Foreclosures Daily toolbox that we put together for you. So you'll get that when you buy, as long as the probate book. And then my webinar, as long as the guy that wrote the book, his webinar too, the replays. So you'll have some training. So the $1,750 paid up front includes all the services. No, Ozzy, it includes one of those lead types. And it says right up there, each service. Look at the word after evictions. Each service cost $5.99 for 12 weeks, $9.99 for 26 weeks, or $1,750 for a year. But I encourage you, while the owner's giving this free county away, buy the year. Lock him in for the whole year for that free county, guys. Take advantage of that. Because anybody on this call that's my subscriber, and I see a lot of you, you paid $1,750 and got one county and paid $875 for the additional. How frequently are the lists updated? They're weekly and fresh for the probate, pre-probate, inheritance, divorce, code violation, and evictions. They're all weekly and fresh. The foreclosures are daily in Florida. What's the minimum number of probate leads that you recommend you mail per month? Well, first of all, we always try to get you around 20 to 25 leads a week. If you pick a county that falls short, we will add a county for free at no charge to help increase your counts until you get to 20 to 25. Who wrote the book is Kevin Sayles. Can somebody type that in? Kevin Sayles, S-A-Y-L-E-S. You can find it on Kindle, and the owner will email you. Our marketing director, Director Joe Montagno, will mail you a book when you buy the leads, just so you know. But it's Kevin Sayles, S-A-Y-L-E-S. Can we schedule a group training? Absolutely. Reach out to me. I'll do a group training with you guys. I do board of realtor trainings all the time. I do all kinds of things with realtor boards and title companies and mortgage brokers and all that stuff. Yeah, we do. We'll give you a discount if you purchase multiple services beyond the counties. Like if you want probate, I had a guy call me up and he got all 6 services for one county. There was 1 or 2 counties. I think it was 10 grand a year. We gave him a big discount. But yeah, if you purchase multiple services or even multiple counties or even one county and multiple services, I'll take care of you guys. Oh, thank you for putting my information up there, Leon. I appreciate that. Okay. When you make a purchase, do you get the information on marketing materials? Yes. When you make a purchase, we give you a link to all of our postcards and our letters that we recommend. How do you get info? What do you mean when you make a purchase, do you get the information on marketing materials? Yes. Also, how would I get the info on scrubbing the list? I'm not sure what you mean, but we do give you access to the mail house and the skip tracing company so that you can scrub the list and get phone numbers. Thank you, Leon. All right, guys, that's pretty much all the questions we have. It's 7:15. I do have a screen I can show you of what the probate leads will look like. Now these are probate. So keep in mind, on a pre-probate, you're probably not going to have all this information. On both lists, you will have the decedent's name, the decedent's address, which is the property address, the case number. Well, what's promised is the decedent's name, the decedent's address, and the decedent's mailing address. What other things you may get are the case number, legal description on a probate, okay? Let me go back down here. Mailing address, bedrooms, bath, last assessed value of the property, type of property. Look at the PR. PR stands for personal rep. You might get their name, their address if it's a probate. If you get it, great. Mail them, skip trace them, call them. If you don't make it a big deal. It's not. Then you mail the decedent. You call the decedent's phone number. You call the surrounding family members of the decedent's phone numbers. Okay? Look, this is Broward County. This also comes with the attorney's names, attorney's address, attorney's phone number, and attorney's email. That's awesome. It's a really full list, you guys. So, I mean, you can reach out to the attorneys if the information is provided in your county, and it definitely is in Broward, Hillsborough, Pinellas. A lot of counties it's provided in. If you're nationwide, some counties we provide it, sometimes we don't. I mean, if it's there, great, utilize it. I've got the email script for you to send to the attorney expressing interest in the said property. And you always want to try to build a rapport with them, guys, because you want to try to be able to, I'm making it small because I don't want anybody copying addresses. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen. So you always want to try to reach out to the attorney expressing interest in the said property and any other properties they may have, because if you build a relationship with the attorney, you guys, they'll start sharing their probate leads with you too. PR stands for personal representative, just so you know, personal representative. Does the pre-probate turn into a probate eventually? Most of them, but if they inherit the property via a trust, they're never going to turn into a probate. All right, guys, that was pretty much the last question I had, but here's the postcard. Somebody wanted to see the postcards again. But, you know, reach out to me, use the code TC1000. You can email me and call me. The owner's going to send out an email of the replay by tomorrow morning to all of the people that attended. You know, thanks guys for being on here. I really appreciate all you guys. Remember, you know, our success is your success. If you guys are successful, we're going to be successful. So we literally are putting our best foot forward for you guys. Thanks, Marissa. We love you guys too. Guys, reach out if you need anything. We'll be here. I hope you guys have a great night, and thanks for taking the time out to be on our Foreclosures Daily webinar today. I appreciate you. The owner appreciates you. Our coworkers appreciate you all. Our research director appreciate. We all appreciate you guys, okay? Have a great night.